I started dancing in Japan, and I did folk dance in Japan. And when I came back to Chicago, there was really no place to do folk dance, and there was a Japanese classical dance group. And Japanese classical dance has its roots in kabuki theater. So kabuki theater is strictly for men. So they started Japanese classical dance so that women had the opportunity to dance without the restrictions of kabuki theater. So I officially started here on August 2nd of this year, but I've been involved peripherally with the company or the organization for over 10 years. We were founded as an organization to help the Japanese Americans returning from the camps, and so we were an agency providing services for that community. And I think, given the rich cultural history in the community, it's important to educate people on cultural aspects and also to provide services for the community, as has been our tradition. And they're really very nice. Oh, that's so strange. We do a lot of fundraising. We have someone writing grants for us. We've gotten a lot of grants recently, and the focus for the grants is for our for our Legacy Center, which is the largest archive of Japanese American materials I think in the Midwest. So we've gotten a lot of grants for that, and grants for restoring films that were made in the 70s of the older Japanese generation here in Chicago. And how else? Oh, we have an annual event, Holiday Delight, which brings in some money, but as a smaller not-for-profit, we kind of do everything we can do. I think we really brought together the Japanese community originally, because when the Japanese Americans returned from the camps, there were a lot of restrictions on what they were allowed to do, where they were allowed to go, I think, and life was really difficult, and we offered a centralized location to help them, and then the churches became a little bit more established here, but I think we've offered valuable support just in terms of the general Japanese American population. They do all kinds of things, and it's a really great introduction to Japanese culture for children who live in America. So they do bring in the drums sometimes, and they teach toddlers how to dance, but that's always kind of interesting, and it's just for a little introduction. And they do a lot of Japanese songs, and they talk about Japanese holidays and different crafts for traditional Japanese events and holidays, and I mean, there's a lot. It's got a lot of culture. Our instructor is phenomenal, and she's really enthusiastic, and she makes it really fun for them to learn how to speak Japanese. And it's play-based, and for young children, I think it's a really easy way to absorb the language and culture. And it's a really unique program. There's nobody else that does what she does for that age group. And living in America, there's so much about Japanese culture and about Japanese language that you don't experience or you don't learn. And I think she does a really good job of introducing these families and the children to that.